Right, and we are back. Unfortunately, we have an electrical issue. Which required a little bit of debugging to fix, but yeah. Looks like we're down a hob again. Well, anyone else who uses the kitchen is. And we're going to have to redo that entire cutscene. Unless we actually lost it. Chatbot, if you could. I just hope I'm actually broadcasting. Right, let's do this again. Create a dashboard. Okay, so, yep, we are definitely live. Okay, let's just check. Yeah, looks like... Yep, there we go, finally. The bot woke up. Right, let's do this. And let's hope we don't have any issues with... Return to your chamber. Let's try this again. And thinking of... I am actually going to check the connection.
Take heart and protect them well.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Cryle, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat-Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh!
No, no, you do know these are my quarters.
Why else did you think we were here? Surrender to thy fate, O champion.
Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more, and then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting too was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Alright, finally. Oh, and we have an achievement on Wings of Hope, and I believe that actually does give us a title. Yeah, Magus Resistor on Wings of Hope. So we are going to change. Right. And here's Kryl. Sound the bells, school's in. So we have a pewter weapon copper eye level 525, which I think is still going to be lower than what we have, because we do have augmented crypt lurker. So we are at well, we're coming up on 6:30, so we are going to get as far as we can. Alright, speak with Alize. Oh, she's outside the Baldessian Annex. Alright. There we go. Ah, here we go. Alize! Heading out for a stroll? Still consultant here. In that case, what are we waiting for? So I dread the thought of visiting the studio. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. All people worrying about its reputation and at our alma mater, no less. Wonders never cease. You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Alright, speak with Kryl, this time up at the Studium. So, back to the Ethernet shard and to the Studium. 3 weeks later, Kryl finally spawns in. Right, and we need to disable auto text advancing. Here it is. Oh no! While I expect you to make note of it before. One can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? Most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums. It also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. At the centre of what would later become the Studium, it was established to promote the study of etherical phenomena, hence the name. Though with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th Astral Era, phenomenon was decreed complete and the Studium officially opened as a place of learning. In a long and storied history, it is, without question, the world's leading authority in etherology. The arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Shania's foremost educational institute. He always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed. I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited the same foppish speech. Such is his undying love for his old stamping ground. Shouldn't that be stomping ground? He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honours in magical arts and ethology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you are equally prodigious scholars. That's you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honours. I am certainly not the studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects, I have been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that it was where the legend of Alphino Leveilleur began. You should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck it might work to our advantage. Well, it's no time like the present. First things first, except for the scars, but other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Excuse me. Have to excuse me for that. Ugh. Alright, speak with the excitable student. What's Alphino Leveilleur? What is the Alphino Leveilleur? His sister and Master Valdesian's granddaughter. That can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Oh, sorry. You said you were looking for the Scholarch, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Mr. Aliafo should have a better idea. How many Aliafos are there in this actual game? Because at least we know about Chloe. Oh, and I actually need to visit her for a new WT. There's an Aliafo in the Archers Guild in Gridania. There are actually 2 Aliafos in Adilshire, if I remember. Have to excuse me. Well, wandering off the streets, perhaps. Wait, don't tell me, you trainee gleaner, fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, silly of me. An orientation is done. Allow me to bid you welcome to the welcome to Searchers Meet. Studium. That's right, books. What's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal with here at Searchers Meet. Well, whenever the students find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we send the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. I have Piazza, the this tongue of giganto that is enough to make your hair stand on end. It's possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish. This is being a school of magic and all. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Scholarch's whereabouts. I beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner? And this was all an elaborate ruse? No, wait, come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake! He was here, but now he's not. I did speak to him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to make us meet. You can see the opposite side of the entrance is a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. The time it's taken me to tell you all of this, Scark has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. With a feeling you'll need it. Yeah, because there's Chloe Aliafo, there's Zoe Aliafo, I know there's a third one in the Archers Guild. Oh, no, wrong way, wrong way. Alright. Oh, Kryl. Unsurprisingly, the Scholark is not in this office. I did, however, speak with one student who saw him not long ago. So he can't have gone far. Not in this room, though. Hang on. Thank you, level-headed student. Yes, Scholark was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down a corridor, perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Yep, and... oh, there's Kryl, because she's at the door. I actually, Thank you.
Ah, I remember you.
And enable auto text advancing, but I am going to keep the
I pray we
mic
have
on.
not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment. which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
And class is in session, of course.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into three forms. Two are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third?
Corporeal ether?
Yes, very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink, the same type of ether as comprises the memories?
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The seventh Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act.
And if you did the binding cause of Bahamut, you would actually
The
know what
enchantment
happened.
which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Class dismissed.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
Right. Sound the bell, school's in. Granted the run of phenomenon. If you are getting key LFO, would put your artistry to good use. And I really need to have actually turned off auto text advancing there. Right. Pewter weapon coffer. Where are you? I think there is a... Yeah. Capital idea. So close to understanding the forestry motives and the mysteries of life itself, for good measure. Alright, speak with Grahart here in the main hall of our Desian Annex. Alright, and I do believe we have... Yeah, because... Yeah, the faculty, because we can't take that because we... Well, we are not of the correct class. Because that is, I think it's either Disciples of the Hand or the Land. Right, sell items in inventory, open the armory chest, and alright, let's see. Oh! 44999. With the bracelets of aiming. Very good, madam. Very good indeed. Alright. Alright, here's the main hall. Oh! Disable auto text advancing. Alright. Welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studio proved most educational. While you received word from our fellow Scions. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa. Time has come for us to go on the offensive. Too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Oh, these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain, those Reacher and the Alchemists of great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we will soon have good news of our own to share. Tide is about to turn, I can feel it. To Limsa. Although, what I'm going to do is take the roundabout way, so... Well, we're actually closer to a Dilshire. So we can go from here to a Dilshire, from a Dilshire to the Gold Saucer, and from the Gold Saucer to Limsa, although I could actually just use Return, since my home point is Limsa. Yeah. Come on. Alright, hand over the journal. Oh no, this journal is old and dusty smelly. Yep. And receive a new journal. Alright, so new copy of Wondrous Tales. Okay, so we have 149, 50, 51, 59, and 60. World of Darkness, Dun Scaife, Alexander, Fist of the Father. Alexander Soul of the Creator, Battle of Embers Extreme, Striking Tree Extreme, Act for Amphitheater Extreme, Minstrel's Ballad, Ultima's Bane. Minstrel's Ballad, Fallen's Reign, Binding Calls Bahamut turn 3, Second Call of Bahamut turn 4, and Frontline. Okay. Next. Gold Saucer, so we can get our consolation prizes. I think we are actually getting close to heading to Garlemald. Alright. No, no. Here we go. Alright, so I don't think we have any... Yeah, we don't have any cards to sell. Right, so let's do our mini cat pot first. 185. 4, 5, 6. Oh. Yes, I think we might just be able to get as far as the first camp. Yep. Nothing but consolation prizes. Purchase jumbo cat pot. Yep, that'll do. That'll do for 2, and that'll do for 3. And enter the command room in Limsa Laminsa. Yes, I think we might be able to get the Garlemald before I clock out for the day. Alright, yep. Three of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Even the moments of error shall I show you to them. Apologies for calling you away from Charlian at such short notice. On the contrary, we were honoured and grateful and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. So it's only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action. We have taken the initiative, set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. And might I ask what your plan entails? Hinges entirely on the Wardy Scouts and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Charlie and the Allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, the surge in abduction of Kobold, Sahagya, Nixel, and Anata are giving rise to an increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph at Razat-Han has given us cause to hope once more. Time has come to free ourselves of this menace. It is you, the Sons of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. Oh, the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telophroi at bay. We will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilzabard contingent. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. First, to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbing them of their free will, they serve the Telophroi every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I only ask that in choosing to remember we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there could be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can agree. The second objective is the colossal tower that Frankrid and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there is reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telophroi. They're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide us side and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Stoda's analysis of the tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on our observations inside the Tower of Zot, the Spire siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the largest spire in the capital. There's a logic in that, regardless. Once we have uncovered the truth, we will bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good. What would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilzabard contingent. Considering official requests from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance, do you accept? For the people of Garlemald. A bullet fell on myself! Stoda, Frankrid, and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet with the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you deliver the warning scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilzabard. Ralban and Lord Demeric are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourself known upon arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Lofroy so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who could create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge that yours will be as you left it, or better upon your return. Right, speak with Ralban in the Alamigan Quarter. Gilabanya, Alamigan Quarter. Right, yes, I think we are only gonna get as far as getting into Garlemald. And there are a few people around. I think this person is actually doing healer. Yep, 87 White Mage. They are doing the healer role quest. I think most of this lot are actually on their way to Garlemald. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys and destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warning scales of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Demeric be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organise the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilzabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Guardians has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Sadly not. Though I do my best, truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side charging in the fray, unless I've battles of my own to fight. Where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Demeric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing that your crew is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilzabard, and I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Meet again. It's Gaius! Those of your exploits travel quickly, not S, travel quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one. That being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us? Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. To Totoro have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilzabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me into a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. But deliver your people from harm in your stead. What it is worth, you have my gratitude. You and your comrades have the strength and courage to deliver my countrymen. I am certain of it. In light of Garth's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I will stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. If I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. And best of the best. The other members of the Guild's contingent are gathered in the Royal Palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you are ready. Right, and okay, so we have a pewter chest gear coffer, and the problem is we can't actually do any equipping because it would mess with the glamour. Right. Enter the Royal Palace, and this is going to be a voice cutscene.
By the 12.
Yep.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilzabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention. Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must. I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation, here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Wait, I know you.
Yeah, it's sicker than the bloody
The name's
executioners.
Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hillfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front. It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield. From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the Avatar of Destruction. With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
It's a Manolane!
Lord Emonelaine?
Ah, yes. Emonelaine de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
Any more of that, and you'll be on the next airship bound for Lishgard. I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Onohua with my tales of daring do.
I think we would have been better off with Onawa.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea.
And also, if you'd actually completed
Our allies
the
from the Eastern
White
Alliance were due
Mage
to
quest
arrive some
line,
time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
what Aaron Senna would have actually said would have been completely different.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Yeah.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Oh, yes.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people, no different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. For Doma, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Maxima, who stands with us today, tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Doma. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us. So it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Alright. So I think I'm only gonna get this last part done. Alright, Lucia. Because it is coming up on 7:30. Alright, Lise. The victory, come hells or high water. Alright. And Maxima. Right, this should boot us out to... yeah, to the Alamegan Quarter. There's a last chance to make ready before we set forth. I don't want to toast you beneath his armour, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you should do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. I've seen one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Hark! Is that the cry of science in need of a tailor I hear? And I'm gonna have to turn off auto text advance. It's Tataru! But how? I have my ways, oh yes indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilzabad without telling me? Ha! Nothing escapes my notice. Now, you will wear these garments on me for you whether you like it or not. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not. Silly, it's all in the name of fashion, rather than the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? I did have one other thing to share. Argus of Winder have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. We'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Since they'll be running things back at headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Charlian. Keep Kroll company in the Baldestian Annex. A fine job carrying on, I said while we were laying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've had nothing to worry about. I thought exactly. Also, I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world. If anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'll be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Charlian. Really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. And granted by yours truly. Yep, North Sea coat. And there's even a little hole for the tail. Alright. Okay, Tataru! A frosty reception. So the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, there he is! Yeah, over there. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? Yep. Well, I was actually going to plan on headed to actually doing all of the Garlemald stuff now, but considering it's just hit 7:30, I'm probably going to find myself a place to sit. I think there is a place to sit somewhere around here. This'll do just fine, if I can actually get it right, and slash sit. Okay. So that is where I'm going to leave it for today. Okay, Google, set light to warm white, and let the camera readjust. Oh, yeah, that is going to be it for today, and this is going to be a right real pain in the backside to sort out, considering this stream is going to be in 2 parts. And okay, Google, open YouTube on Roku.
Okay, launching YouTube on the living room Roku.
Yep. Thank you very much. Anywho, yeah, that is going to be it for today. Next scheduled stream is Thursday at 5 p.m. or earlier, depending on how things go, and hopefully we don't have any more issues with power. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to start figuring out how to get a crap ton of uninterruptible power supply, so as I don't have to worry too much about all of this lot getting one tapped by a RCD tripping, because someone probably decided to flood the hob, which I'm thinking is actually the reason why we had that issue earlier on. Anywho, on the next stream, we will be headed to Garlemald. And, well, what awaits us there? Because we have another dungeon to do, another trial, and whatever. But, yeah, we probably won't be doing any of that next week, on the next stream, especially with the solo duty you have to take. So I will catch you on Tuesday, where we will be starting this up again.